I would be in the same position you're in, so I'm not even mad at you, baby. I'm feeling like fake news. This is the thing. I know people don't like Trump. I understand that. But let me tell you something. If I had to pick between him and Joe Biden, I'm not voting in Joe Biden. You want to see a bunch of black people go to jail by the next 4 years? Put Joe Biden in. Watch what happens. You want to see black men get killed substantially? Like you've never seen before, put Joe Biden in and watch what happens. These Democrats, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be racist, but they hate black people. These are the same people who fought to keep slavery in. These are the same people who built the KKK. These are the same people who hated us from the beginning. The Republican Party is the party of the blacks. Blacks free, the Republican Party is the only party that the black people actually assisted in finding. But all of that history has been torn away. People say, oh, there was this big switch. There was never a big switch. The Union won because we had grown in the industrial era. So we were able to get trains and get supplies back to our soldiers while the Confederate was still riding horses. They were not able to get the supplies back fast enough, right? So what happened was once slavery was abolished in the South, the people in the South could no longer make their money from slaves. They had to move to the North to work in the industry to produce. And so the people in the North that already had established themselves in the industry moved to the South. And so that's where it was a transfer of people coming from the South to the North and people coming from the North to the South. There was never a big switch. So the same Democrats who hated black people from the beginning are the same ones who hate us now. And they use our cause. How did Black Lives Matter turn into something about LGBTQ? When blacks really don't support that. We're conservative. We're really not about that. Not only that, we don't support abortion. We're about working. This is the black culture. We ain't never been about that. Not only that, we're not about feminism. No, we're not. Black women marry their husbands and respect their husbands. That's what we on. We're not on this, oh, I do what I want. We don't do that. That's not our community, and you would understand. I know you understand what I'm saying. We don't do that. But yet these people are hijacking our movement, and the Democratic Party, they're trying to hijack our stuff. No.
All right, family. All right, family. It's about to go down. Afternoon Jams. We're live on 98.5 The Wire in Orlando, Florida, and of course live on 103.7 The Beat in Muskegon, Michigan. Follow up to the Republican National Convention that wrapped up last night. Rob, you was excited, right? I'm not getting any audio from you, Rob. You was excited, right? No, I'm not able to pick you up, brother. Not able to pick you up. I don't know. We got to fix that audio thing, but it's not coming in. But we got a special guest out in Utah. We want to welcome to the show a Black Republican, my brother Tommy. Welcome to the show, Tommy. How you doing, man? Can you hear me?
I hear you quite well. Can you hear me well?
Good. So Tommy, man, doing my research, and my good friend Jonathan Pittman told me about you, that you're doing good things out in Utah, but you are a Black Republican, and I wanted to get your perspective on some things. First of all,
I appreciate that.
First of all, Tommy, your thoughts about President Trump's speech last night?
You know, it's hard to really say. You know, I'm troubled. In some ways, I am troubled, right? For the reason of being troubled, I'd say one is there's no clear message on what are we doing to solve these racial issues. So that's pretty tough. But as far as where we stand economically, some of the plans that he wants to put together, you have to appreciate the man.
So he still got your support, but you're troubled.
I am troubled. I mean, obviously, I'm Black, and I work in areas and environments where there is not a lot of me. Living in Salt Lake City, Utah, there's not a ton, but we are growing. However, what I do see in the media is a lot of these issues are caused upon yourself by your action.
Let's talk about those. What are some of those issues that people cause upon themselves and blame the party?
Okay. For an example, they say that our party are all racist. What they don't understand is there's a lot of Black Republicans. Now, the average person's not going to be a Republican, but a person that's done their research and finds what's the better for them as an American here, the Republican Party is a good party to represent.
So what have the Republican Party done for you as a black man?
Number one, taxes, right? I mean, if you do pretty well, you see some tax breaks. So being able to save your money definitely is a good thing.
Right.
My man's right there smiling about.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
You know,
you're absolutely right.
I mean, like you think about it, a lot of us, they say what, money, power, and respect, right? Well, that's the top three, and he's doing one of those. What he's also doing is think about where he's went globally. There was no threats when he laid the Moab bomb. He just laid it, right? Put it down. So you have to realize there's a lot of talk, but no one's there on that side of the party to really back it up, meaning the Democratic Party.
Okay, finance. I got you on the finance. What outside of the money part?
Military. Military's huge.
Okay. Do you feel like the military fell off during Obama years or Democratic years?
You know what? I respected Obama. He will always be our president. I don't like how a lot of the right side don't, right? Respect him and what he done. The guy came in at a very hard time. So was he hard on military? He was okay. Could we have done a few things differently? Absolutely.
Right. So what kind of separates you from being with the Democrats, besides the money part? And as a business owner, I ain't gonna lie, I've done good. We've done good no matter who's been in office. As a black man with a business, you still got to get up. You got to work hard every day. You got to work twice as harder. You got to sell yourself. You got to promote your brand. You got to, you got to have it together. I don't care. And I've been through the Bush years, Obama years, all these years.
Reagan years,
and Democratic governor, Republican governor, nothing changed. So I don't know if the president made a difference in my economic status. Maybe for those who rely on government contracts and imports and exporting their products, maybe so. But outside of that, what separates the Republicans from the Democrats?
Well, let's talk about federal spending, right? We have a deficit of around $20 trillion. He wants to cut that federal spending, right? Mm-hmm. And in return, what does that do for you and I? Potentially, in theory, puts more money in our pockets, puts more opportunity in our pockets.
So cut slight that. So there we go. That the slicing of the spending.
Huge. $20 trillion.
Now, some people would say, Democrats would say that he's going to cut programs that affect poor black kids. Any concerns there?
Sure there is. But that's what the Democrats are going to say. No matter what we do, right?
Right.
Republican and Democrat side, they say big, but they don't do big. Mm-hmm. So, yes, he is going to do some cutting. And here's where we got to step in as minorities, as blacks. If we truly want to matter in this country, then we need to make sure our voices are heard to him specifically. No more waiting on someone else to do it. It's time to knock on the doors if you feel that there needs to be change in what he does. Okay,
so any other thing that separates you from the Democrat? What are your opinions about the Black Lives Matter movement?
You know what? That's a very good question. For me, I don't support it, and here is why. Mm-hmm. The original concept of BLM, Black Lives Matter, was supposed to be nonviolent change within the judicial system. Nonviolent changing the judicial system with police reform. Mm-hmm. Who's the leader? Who's actually went out there and spoke? Why are we not demanding, if that's the case, the interviews and meetings with our president? That's why I can't get behind it. You know how much money they raised? Over $300 million. How much of it has went to the inner cities?
Good question.
I don't know. Do you know, PA?
Nah, I don't know, bro. No, I didn't know they raised. I didn't know they raised.
I didn't either.
I mean, I know that the George Soros of the world has been very supportive. They've gotten a lot of donations, and some of the sisters have started their own separate movements outside of that. But do you support the idea that Black Lives Matter and that it are based on the police brutality of the police not being held accountable?
Okay, define what you mean as accountable.
In cases where, the police brutality of a person, black man, unarmed black man shot by the police, get away, get off.
Okay.
In comparison, and I get that we have issues within our own community. I get that. But Juju on the block, 9 times out of 10 is going to get charged and he's going to end up in prison. In comparison to a cop who get a separate justice system.
Now, I like where you're going with that. Should cops be held more accountable? Without a doubt. Do I feel that police officers are quick to react to you and I just because our voice might be a little deeper, just because we look a certain way? That does happen. But what I do know is you never taunt someone who has 16 and one in the chamber.
And so you feel a lot of these cases that's what it's been?
A lot of the cases.
Tamir Rice.
A lot of the one, no, absolutely not. But let's go back to Jacob Blake. Was he a resistant arrest? I was on board for a moment, and then I got all of the details behind it. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't agree with them shooting him in front of his 3 sons that are going to be traumatically impacted for the rest of their lives. But he should lead by an example. If you have those 3 sons in your car, be submissive to that police officer and talk whatever bull crap you want to talk once you've been able to drive off.
So have there been any cases where you said the police was wrong?
Absolutely. Mr. Floyd should have never died the way that he was. A lot of problems of what you hear with my conservative party and how they believe is it was justice served. Mm-hmm. Well, when a man's crying to you and he says he can't breathe, I don't care what his past criminal record is. Believe in that man.
Right.
Now, I heard what you said about Jacob Blake. My whole thing you said was be submissive. We as black men are not submissive by nature. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I definitely will agree by nature we are not. But here is the thing. How many of our men do you have to see killed before you realize I need to get through this moment?
I mean, I think we have people who have surrendered or trying to surrender and still died.
Or still got shot.
That's not 100% mean that there's people that's gonna die in the jail cell under police care.
Male and female.
So it just not been foolproof for us as a people, and I know you're in Utah, but I think there was a case in Utah not too long ago. They were protesting.
About the Hispanic male?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you know what? At the same time, too, when you are doing things that provoke a police officer, you never know where that outcome is going to be. What I can tell you from my encounters, which I've had several in my life, my uncle was a state trooper in Georgia. I grew up in Georgia. You know how to say yes, sir, no, ma'am, just to make sure that you live another day. And those things are not being said. Those things are not being vocal from our BLM movements, right? From our Democratic parties, right? We're not talking about, how to deal with a police officer when you feel there's a potential threat.
But
you have the right to
this
call in for backup. You can have him call in. Tell him you're not comfortable. I want you to bring your sergeant.
So basically, be submissive. Is that the Republican?
Be responsible. Be responsible, not submissive.
Okay.
Responsible.
Okay. All right. You know, we having this conversation to get understanding now. Are your comment that you feel is that the norm within the Black Democratic Party? Republican Party?
You know what? I think a lot of us, definitely a lot of us have the same views. You know, we try to understand that we as an American, and that includes me, my forefathers died for this, just like a Caucasian man's forefathers died for this. So it's my duty to represent my forefathers and grandmother's name the best of my ability.
All right. Now, is the goal of the Black Republicans to get more Blacks to become Republicans?
That's a very good question. What it is we want to be able to say, educate yourself before you automatically say you're a Democrat, right? I mean, you find that a lot of Republicans are medium. They're central. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Why is it that a lot of minority people vote Democrat just to vote Democrat?
That's a good question. I'm independent, so I can't answer that question for you. I vote on issues, and that's why I'm talking to you to get some of the issues that the Republicans have for the Blacks. Is there a Black agenda within the Republican Party?
Oh, absolutely there are. In fact, there's many of Republicans that run for office, as you can see behind me. A friend of mine that I got to know a little bit, Burgess Owens. He's going to run for Congress here in the state of Utah. And I hope he gets it, because I know that one thing that we need to see as Black men is people that are Black in power. Mm-hmm. People that are not afraid to say, there's an issue within our communities. Let's fix that. And then we'll start gaining the respect of others.
So that's not going to happen until we start respecting each other. Then that's what you're saying.
That's my opinion, and certainly a few other people's opinion too. I mean, after having several conversations with a lot of my friends who don't look like me, our number one focus and talks are, how can we make them understand? Meaning white people. They don't understand where we come from, right? So the only way that we can help them understand is to have these interactions with them, to have these conversations of why. Black people need to start respecting themselves, loving themselves, and knowing that you truly are a king.
You don't think that Black people show their love? You don't think that's happening? Bro,
I know for a fact, just some of my stuff that I might post on my social media, I get more hatred from my people than I do what we consider to be rednecks.
Okay.
I mean, you go in the hood, and just because you might be doing well, they have this false perception of you. You know, they talk about you, white boy wannabe, brainwashed, all these other things, just because a person might have chosen to better themselves.
I get you. Let's talk about some issues. Abortion. Where are Black Republicans at on abortion?
Black Republicans definitely believe that there is no abortion. A majority of them. It all depends. It's circumstantial, right? Like, it all depends on what happened. If you were raped or something like that, then absolutely.
Okay.
But any other way, then naturally you should have that power.
What about the mothers at risk of dying? High risk.
Now, I can speak for me where I'm at with that. I can speak for me saying, save yourself at that point, right? I think your life is really important before having that child.
We're talking to Tommy Trimiar. I hope I got that right. How you say the last name?
You killed it. It's Trimiar.
It's Trimiar. Okay. In Utah, Black Republican reparations, man. What are Black Republicans at on reparations for Black folks? Israel getting theirs, man. You know, the Japanese got theirs.
You know what?
The Native American got casinos.
Here's the thing. We have been talking about that for far too long. It hasn't happened yet, so let's get it out of our minds until there's really a bill that's trying to pass, or some of the Democratic parties or whatever may have. Until they bring it up and it's a real thing, let's leave it alone. We have spent so many years talking about what the white man owes.
So you don't think that Black America should be repaired?
Let me ask you this question. If they decided to do it, but they decided to give you the land like they did the Indians, the 40 acres in the desert, the very harsh climates, would you go?
No, me personally, just give us education. Give us college education.
Okay.
I'm not saying just throw everybody some money. That'll be done. It'll be a wrap in about a couple of years. So let's do something that's sustainable.
Okay.
For decades, free public education. That's going to get our minds up out of the place we're at. Rob,
and I agree. I agree with you on that, PA. Education would be the best reparation for blacks, in my opinion. But you got to understand too, brother. Blacks have built this nation. You know, there wouldn't be no Fords, and I don't know if you watch Made in America, the story of Ford and GM and the Rockefellers and all of them. You know, when you look at that kind of stuff, blacks were made to do certain things, you know, and I think we deserve that education. If nothing else, don't forget the land, forget the money. Give us free education, you know, for the rest of our lives and our children's children's children for the rest of our lives.
Right.
Okay. Let's say that happens. Do you think a high percentage of us will truly take advantage of that?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That student loan debt is keeping people continue to go to college because they get that fur bands. Like, we just keep going to school, stacking up a student loan debt. That is real in Black America.
Because even
just trying to get on the level playing field. And I know if you look at the stats, you could be black with a doctor's degree and make less than a white person with a bachelor's degree.
But let me ask you this question: Are those individuals willing to leave whatever area or city that they're in?
Oh yeah, no, I can't answer that part. But I just believe education is a valuable tool that we need to look at as reparation.
I like the idea. I think it's a very good idea, without a doubt.
A few more things, because I know comments are coming in. What about universal health care? Do Black Republicans believe in universal health care?
No.
Now, why
not? Now, there is a problem with health care. There is a problem, but it has to do with inflation, right? Uh-huh. It has nothing to do with being universal. When you look at things that are universal, then that's when you start getting to a socialist type atmosphere. I think, me personally, it needs to be based on what your income is. Majority of Black people don't even go to the hospital. Number one, they're afraid of hospitals, and a lot of us don't have health insurance, right?
Bro, hey, Tommy, I know you in Utah, bro, but I'm in Florida and Michigan. Black people's at the emergency room. That's where they at. That's our doctor.
Yep.
See, I know you upper middle class, so you want to know about that. But I'm gonna tell you what's happening in the hood, bro. We ain't going to the doctor. We going to the emergency room because of a headache, and the ambulance. And that's the debt. That's making the debt go up.
Okay, so what do we do? Do you believe in universal health care? I mean, do you feel like it's fair for you and I to pay for something that, for someone who's not trying, who's not willing to put in the effort?
I think that a country as great as America is, with the resources we have, I don't think we should be paying $800 a month for health insurance. And it appears to go higher and higher and higher. I went to emergency room and I had to pay $3,500 for emergency room visit. And that's too much. And I think in other countries, and I've been to 17, 21 countries, whatever it is, everybody got universal health care. Everybody. We pay Israel a lot of money. Israel's doing good. They got universal health care. They got a great educational system, and we get them billions of dollars. And one thing we can learn from them, they take care of their people. They take care of people, and we help take care of their people. But we not taking care of our own folks.
So basically, a lot of these things, if I may, a lot of these things don't come to a side of a political party. What they come to is the average American is too dumb or quiet to step up and say these things need to change.
Well, we need voices, man, and that's why I wanted to know the Black Republican, agenda. What was your thoughts on certain things? Because we got to have this conversation. We got to come to an agreement. And if the Republicans in charge, Democrats in charge, we still got to have our agenda at the float. We got some comments coming in and some very good. Go ahead, Big Rob.
I had a question, PA.
Yes.
To the brother. Aren't Republicans very much into Christianity?
Yes, but so aren't Democrats.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking that is because in the Bible somewhere it says the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And
we do give. We give. The first thing that a Republican wants to do.
You ever heard that?
The first thing that a Republican.
When it comes to me helping take care of my brother or my sister that's less fortunate than I am, I don't have a problem with it. But it seems like other people in the world have a problem with helping take care of the less fortunate, because everybody can't have $100,000 job. Everybody can't have even a $30,000 a year job.
I know you got people. What you do to the least of thee, do the least of me, you do unto me. So that's in the Bible. But
do Republicans not believe in taking care of America first?
That depends on what part of America.
Yeah.
That depends on
what part.
And so let me ask you this. Is the Democratic Party, do they have plans to do better?
I'm not going to, I can't sit here and vouch for the Democratic Party. Tommy, I can't.
I can't either, because I'm a Republican. Whoever's doing more for me, that's who I vote for.
I just know we continue to vote and things continue to be the same. And I know that in my community where I grew up, Black kids get $7,500 for the school system gets $7,500 per child. In the rich neighborhood, they're getting about $11,000 across the state. And that's not equality in public schools. And you expect it to have the same education while getting less money. That is in America as apple pie. And it's going on all over the country. We need to fix that system. And our teachers been held to the same standards as these teachers in these rich suburban areas. And these kids fall through the cracks. Yeah, do parents have responsibility? Yes. I'm not going to say that we have to police our community better than the police do. It's us responsible. But man, time is flying. It's flying, man. Are you a delegate? What is your pre-election political action inside the political party? What are you vouching for? What are you fighting for inside the Republican Party?
Like anyone else, a smaller government, more people control, right? I want to give the power back to our people, and meaning the Americans. And equality is what I'm learning. It's what we make it, right? If we decide to always complain, well, how are we going to find a solution? Mm-hmm. Why is it that you see thousands of very wealthy African Americans now? Why do we see thousands of them? But what are they really doing collectively as a unit What are they doing to actually better our young generations?
I think in neighborhoods, blacks are. I see more blacks doing things in neighborhoods than ever before.
But we need this on a collective scale. If you want to make a difference, right, you're going to have a round table and some very strong heads like Oprah Winfrey or Jay-Z or, you know, someone like LeBron James. You see them individually speak. Well, the BLM movement had an opportunity to really stand for something.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You see a lot of conservative people that truly wanted the BLM to stand for something.
But you don't believe it. And I got a Black Lives Matter, a local director here. He's made a statement. Education is the key part of reparation. We're talking to Tommy Trimiar. He's out in Utah as a Black Republican. Trump said yesterday that he has done more for blacks than African Americans than any other president in the history of America. So that means he done more.
Besides Lincoln. He did say besides Lincoln.
Besides Lincoln. Yeah, besides Lincoln. What are your thoughts on that? Is that true or false, brother?
Hasn't every single one of our presidents said the same exact thing? Me personally, you know, I can go ahead and tell you my favorite presidents of all time, at least in my lifetime that I can remember strongly, is Clinton. He was the closest thing to a black man without being a black man. He knew I struggled a little bit, right? And then I like Bush. I like Bush because Bush was dumb. Bush was dumb, but he proved to us that the average man can make it. Okay, and then we gotta love Barack Obama. Everything that he stood for should have proven to our young black people that we can do anything with focus. Anything.
So was Trump right? So Trump lied then. Can we get that? He lied.
I can't say that he hasn't. Look at the economy. Look where you are. Look where some of your stocks were setting if you believed in stocks. Look where your house value went up, right? Look where some of the percentages of those interest rates going down. Look at him actually threatening the Federal Reserve and saying, look, we're going to shrink the government on the federal side if we have to. But those are huge.
But Tommy, that happened during Obama years. My income increased. I don't know, during Obama years, I went from having one house in Michigan to having two houses, one in Michigan and Florida. Went for during Obama years. I don't know if it had anything to do with President Obama. I think it had something to do with getting better and doors being open, you know, and God and the ancestors working in our favor, and having good people around you. I don't know if Trump can take the credit for this financial windfall that had already started when he took office. You know what I mean? Stocks was doing good 4 years ago. Everybody was happy. I mean, tax breaks. Well, I can say this tax breaks he gave us. Those are good. That's good. That's a good thing. You know, because I don't know if everyday American know as a business owner, we have to pay into your Social Security stuff that you don't even get credit for. You know?
I agree.
And have to pay half of your taxes.
And have to pay some of your taxes. So a lot of Americans don't know that part. So I agree with the on that.
Let's talk about the Social Security factor. Look at what he's trying to do with that. He's trying to make sure that becomes what? Private or non-private?
I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How you find that research out, let me know.
Okay. All right. We got Tommy out in Utah. We're talking about the Republican Party. He is a Republican. So you don't believe in reparation. I know we talked about that. Are you trying to recruit blacks to get into the party?
Man, I try my best to educate people regardless. I don't think that you should belong to a party unless you truly know what you stand for. I think a person should be independent, just like yourself, until they find some reason, a real reason. But do research. When it looks at it, think about when the Democratic side, blacks didn't become Democratic again until the 20s, 1960s, 60 years ago. They flipped over from being Republican. Why? Blacks were already Republican.
You seen that rally last night, man. Do you think young black kids that's in college or graduating will be welcome in there when we already get stereotyped for having tattoos, or where we wear our clothes, or the music we listen to, or we get judged for the hair we have? You think that some of those folks would have been, oh baby, I'm so happy you came? They probably stereotype. Hey Tommy, they probably stereotype you, bro. You know what I mean? You look like you hip hop. You know what I mean? They might be like question you.
You know what? And you're right. There is a side to me that's both, and that's what I'm saying. Yes, I am registered voter as a Republican, but educate yourself. If I find that the better representative could be Democratic for me and my future, I'm going to go that route. And I want blacks to be more open-minded to potentially giving the ideas of being Republic.
Right. I got to do our station ID. WBS LP 1037, Muskegon Heights, WHPB 98.5, WHPB LP 98.5, Pine Hills, Orlando. We talking to a black Republican going over our, we were scheduled just for 30 minutes, man. We don't went over, bro. I hope you're okay out there. It's probably morning. Is it morning time in Utah? What is it out there, man?
Oh man, we see that's black folks for you, man. We not across the world. I'm just 2 hours away, baby.
Are y'all free out there, man? Black folks free in Utah, man?
Man, I'll tell you right now, no, because I don't want nobody coming out here.
So,
hey Tommy, I wanted to ask you, what do you feel about Candace Owens? Some Republicans feel she's an extremist. How would you feel as a black Republican about Candace Owens?
I don't really have a comment. That's a very good question. That's a very good question, man. And I don't want to just assume too quick, You
heard of her, right?
I know who she is. Okay. If I can, I feel like she's a little bit.
Y'all click, right? That's y'all little click.
A little outspoken, right? A little over the top, and that scares me. That scares me a little bit.
Okay. All right. So Trump, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do we get, brother?
Well, what side? Overall? Are we talking overall scale? Or are we talking economically?
No, overall for Black America. He told Detroit, what do you have to lose? What the hell do you have to lose? Black folks should be voting for me. And he has repeatedly said he's been the best president ever for them. Overall, in his past 3.5 years, however long he's been there, what would you give him in regards to Black America? And we can't count that $1,200 checks, wherever it was that came out during the pandemic. That don't count.
Overall rating right now is about a 6.5. He's about a 6.5. There's a lot of room for improvement.
We disagree on a lot of stuff, but we all right on that. We okay. Tommy, man, we gonna I think we got Jonathan Pittman here. Hey, JP, man, is anything you want to say to your brother? And JP, you're a Republican too, right? Are you?
No, I'm not a Republican. I'm independent like you, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Nice mansion too, bro.
This is my wife. This is my wife's house.
Right. That's half of yours, man. That's half of yours, bro. I see why you're Republican, man.
No, man. No, I'm independent. I'm like you, man. I vote on the issues, and I believe that Black people, we need to remove ourselves from this political process, this election cycle. So we need to look at basically no one's talking about the Black agenda and reparations And that is a part of the Black agenda. And so that's what we need to be focused on. And we need to remove ourselves from it because nobody's talking about it, Republicans or Democrats.
JP, what is your opinion on Black Lives Matter?
You know, I agree with the statement, but I don't agree with the organization. I think the organization is somewhat corrupted, and I think it's going to turn into basically all lives matter. It's going to turn into we're going to focus on gays and like Dr. Claude Anderson likes to say humpbacks and lesbians and everything else besides what it was originally intended for. So I don't, I believe with the statement and the sentiment behind it, but as far as the organization, I don't agree with that.
Right.
But I think it's good. It's starting a conversation. So I have to give them their just due.
Right. Did we get everything, Big Rob? We got to get going. Did you get out everything you wanted to get out? We got to have this conversation again because since you on the inside, man, we need you to advocate for our people, brother. You know what?
And now I will do a better job. I'll do a better job of being able to bring some good points to the table for you guys. And I hope that I've done something good. I hope that
for us, we all want.
It ain't just for it's for us, bro.
For you part of the family.
You, me, him, everybody.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. I hope I brought something to the table. I hope I did.
You did, brother.
You got a different perspective.
A different perspective. And we didn't get into a lot of other stuff. And I want to get you back with a Black female Republican. And I want to talk about equality marriage because there seems to be a little division there. There are gays who have committed suicide because Blacks, people in their family, have not been accepting to that. And I think we need to separate government, church, all that together, man. But we can't be losing some of our great people because of their lifestyle. Or whatever, man, and I think we got to evolve. We got to evolve to a society that love all Black folks. I had the opportunity to interview a transgender female on radio in Orlando, and that conversation was so deep about what he went through as a boy and what made him decide to become a woman. And after hearing his story, I felt him in his soul. I felt him in his heart and what happened throughout his life. And so we need to have a conversation because I hate to see our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ get demonized and not at the table. And they spend money in America just like everybody else. They're adopting kids who are families abandon them. Now, we might disagree with some things, but I just hate seeing them getting demonized. And so I just want to bring it up, man. You know what? And it is something that happens a lot. Being Black is tough, right? But also being Black is beautiful because we are trendsetters. Right. And until us young Black men start believing that, and most importantly, encouraging these types of conversations and having your own individuality, we won't ever change. Right. So my goal is to work with you and not only bring light to the Republican Party for Blacks, but my goal is to actually change the thoughts of our Black men. Too many of our thoughts are enslaved thoughts. Right. I agree with that. Go ahead, Rob. So let's work together to make sure that this change, because at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter what political party we belong to. If we have a true agenda of keeping Black lives and brown skin lives safe, well, let's put some ideas and some thoughts in process that really make sense. But let's start at home first. So is somebody asked this question: is Trump a racist, man? It has not been proven that Trump is a racist. However, can I see why some people may think so because of his lack of? One of the issues I have with Donald Trump right now is our president's not speaking out on the issues that's going out. And so, as someone that's a medium line or a center line Republican, my concerns is this: are you not saying anything because your agenda is to have the white man rise in a civil war again, or
are you just staying quiet because you realize there's an election coming up in a few months? So those are some questions that I have.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.
You did
Thank
good.
you, Jonathan. Good seeing you, bro.
Yeah, you too.
And
I want to make sure that I got to end to let you know that we in this together. Right? We love our country. We love our country. Let's get it. Thank you.
All right, family. Going back to more music this afternoon.